Hi guys, Rene here and welcome to the workshop. Today I want to talk about shoes and how to improve your riding comfort. So this year I've ridden and trained more than ever before, that's for sure, and I'm not really sensitive to bike fits or using different kinds of products, different positions, different bikes, different pedals, etc. I'm not really sensitive to that, and I never really have any comfort issues except one thing, and that's my feet. So I have 4 pairs of cycling shoes. The one I use most often is this well-worn pair of Giro Empire SLXs. I like these shoes for training mainly because they don't have a very aggressive retention at the heel and are pretty comfortable. They're also very light, very aero. The shoes I use for racing are S-Works 6s and sub 6s for time trials. Now those are pretty comfortable shoes by themselves. And the thing I found with the Giros is, and particularly when riding in hot weather in longer sessions, I find that my foot gets kind of burning sensation. And at first I thought that's because, well, I put the laces on too tight or something similar. But then I've also experienced it with my S-Works 6 cycling shoes, which are or have BOA retention systems, unlike laces. So I didn't really know what's the culprit really. And the thing I found out is, most regular cycling shoes, which are not custom made, use some very, very cheap and simple insoles. And if you don't have a bathtub style shoe, like a Lake or a Bond, etc., then you don't really have any kind of lateral support built into the shoe. Particularly with this Giro, it has a very narrow outsole, very narrow piece of carbon, and your foot just slides on top of that and kind of splays over at the sides, and that's really not ideal. And I really thought that, well, burning sensation is caused by actually the instability of the foot inside the shoe and kind of moving around, and it becomes quite uncomfortable at times. I really noticed it when doing just kind of endurance rides in lower zones, lower power zones, or coasting in a bunch in longer races. If I'm putting on power constantly, it doesn't really happen, but in these lower, less stable positions, low power, less stable positions, I really felt that. And at one point I even had to take my shoe off completely and let my foot breathe a little bit, because I was in quite a lot of pain. And then after experiencing this, I didn't really know any kind of solution. I kept using my S-Works shoes because they were quite a bit better in this regard, although for short training rides and in cooler weather these are pretty much perfect. And then quite recently I've been contacted by an insole manufacturer called Solestar. So this is a German company specializing in making, well, special outsoles for cycling shoes and other kinds of sports footwear as well. And they were kind enough to send me this Kontrol model. So what does this do? Now these are not custom insoles actually. They only have, they are designed with a few very special features, and these stabilize your foot basically no matter what shape it is inside the shoe. So there are 3 models basically. The Tour model is the most supple version for kind of touring rides or not competitive riders. What I have here is the Kontrol model. Now they sent me this one because, well, this has a middle level of stiffness and compliance. So this is a good first pick if you've never ridden anything like this before. And then there's the black version, which a staggering amount of pro riders use. This is the stiffest, no compromise race insole, and it works well if you already used to using these kinds of insoles. So let's just pop the box open. Actually, this is not a proper unboxing. I've already ridden these to give you some impressions, but this is how they look. So they have a huge array of sizes in different lengths and widths to fit different shoes. So this is their size 42, and this fits into Giro shoes. These are a bit narrower and shorter. My specialized shoes actually would need a tiny bit bigger insole than this, but right now I have the 42 here for testing. So the way this differs from a standard shoe or a shoe insole, basically you can see this is just a piece of foam with no real shaping or support built into it. This one is much more clever actually. And the most important bit is this little fiber support. So you can see that this runs basically from all the way from here to the heel where there's a bit of a cutout, and this actually is very stiff. I can hardly put any kind of deformation in it. Then some generous arch support over here. Then this metatarsal button, I think it's called, I'm no expert, but you can see this bit is clearly elevated, and the forefoot kind of slopes down. It also has some perforations to keep your foot cool and to work with vents underneath cycling shoes. So this is how the control model looks like. It fits just like any cycling insole or any shoe insole for that matter. Just slides into your shoe. So screw it up a little bit. Yeah, pops right in. You can actually feel from the outside of the shoe how much more arch support there is, and it's the correct size when the insole can't really move around but isn't wrinkled or isn't deforming the outside of the shoe. Yeah, so this is the Solestar Kontrol fitted. How does it ride? I've actually done my first couple of rides with it. I've intentionally done some longer rides in hot weather in both these Giro Empire SLXs and my mountain bike specific Giro Empire VR90s, which have the same kind of outer shape and size. And I have to say I'm quite impressed with them. Now Solestar say that there's a definite period when your body needs to get adapted to this. Well, when I first put the shoes on with these in, it feels kind of funny, but when riding I didn't really notice anything strange or any discomfort, etc. As I said, I'm not really sensitive to these kind of things. But as I kept on riding, I immediately noticed that when doing some higher power efforts, or any kind of efforts for that matter, your foot just stays locked in place, despite having the laces quite loose. I actually had to loosen them up a bit because the insert itself is a good couple of millimeters taller than the regular one. So it has improved my comfort considerably. I didn't get any hot spots, any numbness, and I really felt that the power transmission through that stiff core of the insole was really a lot better. Now I've yet to ride this for a larger amount of time. I've only done a couple of rides in it, but so far my first impressions are very good indeed, and they've definitely improved the fit and comfort of my Giro shoes. and I think I'll try them, probably the stiffest version, for racing in the specialized or the S-Works shoes that I have. So if you're looking to improve the power transfer, the comfort of your shoe, I think these are a definitive pick, at least for me. They seem to be working well. A really great addition to these Giro shoes in particular, because, as I said, the standard insole is just crap, really. Does nothing apart from, well, probably a bit of vibration absorption. But yeah, these are in a different league entirely, so looking forward to try some other versions as well. Okay, so this was a quick review, early review, I would say, of the Solestar Kontrol inserts. If you want to know more about the cycling equipment that I use, then don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.